Hey guys, welcome back. So as I promised, we are in the Agentic AI playlist again. So we are going to cover everything that you have to understand about the basics of building an Agentic AI. So I've split this into 12 different modules. In the very first one, which is this module, we are going to understand what are AI agents. I'll give you a very brief introduction to the AI agents. And as we keep going forward in all these topics, we will be doing some coding and we will try to understand how to build these agents, how can we do agent orchestration, what is handoff, what are tools, all these different things. And by the end of it, we will be building an entire agentic AI backend, which you can implement in one of your projects if you want. And I'll also show you one of the project that I have created using this agentic AI backend. And finally, I'll share some of the common problems that you're going to face when you're building these agents. Let's start one by one. The very first one, introduction to AI agents. So far, we have covered chat completion, we have covered RAG. Both of these we have already completed in the previous playlist. I highly recommend you to go ahead and watch those playlists if you didn't watch them already, or if you have any doubts also, go ahead and watch them, finish them, get the doubts clarified. Only then you'll be able to understand all of the concepts that I'm going to teach today. So we had chat completion in the very beginning in almost 2023, and that was quite popular. From chat completion, we've built something called as RAG in 2024, which has gained a lot of popularity. But by the end of 2024, we have agentic AI, or I should say agents. So by the end of 2024, agents have started gaining popularity slowly. So what are these agents and how are they different from RAG and chat completion? Let's take a very simple situation. Let's assume that I have a colleague in my company. His name is John Doe, or let's say just John. So John is my colleague. He joined very recently, but John has to do some work for me. So I'll ask him to create an architecture diagram. But John has absolutely no idea which tool he has to use to create these architecture diagrams. There are many softwares, and he doesn't know which software do we use or how to use that software. He doesn't know any of those things. So what I'll say is, okay, you can use draw.io. So you can go ahead and use draw.io software to create architecture diagrams. I'll tell this very clearly to John. John will go to this software and then he'll start creating those architecture diagrams. So from now on, whenever I want any architecture diagrams to be created, I'll go to John. John will use draw.io and then he will do that job for me. Similarly, let's say if I want him to create AI generated images, I'll tell him always go to this site for creating AI generated images. Sorry, Leonardo.ai. So for generating AI images, I'll tell him always go to this software and use that tool. Now, John knows about these two things. Similar to John, I've got one more person, Katie. Now, Katie is also a colleague of mine, and she uses a tool called presentations.ai. It's a software, it's actually a website. All of these are real websites, by the way. So it's a tool that you can use to create PowerPoints using AI. So whenever I want a presentation to be made, she will go here. So I'll simply ask Katie, I want a presentation on so and so thing. Can you create it for me? And then she will go to this tool and she will create that presentation for me. So I will communicate directly with John and Katie. If I want a architecture diagram, I'll go to John. If I want a presentation, I'll go to Katie. Or let's say if I want the architecture diagram to be present in my presentation, first I'll go to John. I'll ask him to create that diagram. Once he gives me the diagram, then I'll go to Katie. I'll give her the architecture diagram. I'll say, create your presentation. Keep this architecture inside of one of the slides. So I am the mediator between these two people. They're not communicating directly. I'm always in between, and I can communicate with any of them as many times as I want for their respective tasks. But I have a manager. Now, this manager is my boss, and he can say, Sai, I want you to create a PowerPoint presentation, and I want some AI images in that, and I want the architecture also, all the three. He will say, uh, architecture plus AI images plus PPT. He wants all these three from me. So what I'll do is, for architecture, I'll go to John. He'll create an architecture, he'll give it back. Again, for AI images, I'll go to John. So what I'm doing is I'm giving my task to these people. I'm giving the task that I am supposed to do because I don't know these tools, right? I don't know Draw.io, I don't know Leonardo AI, I don't know presentations AI. I'm not an expert in those fields. Forget about Draw.io. Maybe John wants to use some other software, maybe Visio or maybe Lucid Chat. It's up to him. He has expertise in that particular software. Over a period of time, he will learn some other software. And whenever I ask him to create an architecture, he will use that respective software. I don't have to worry about which software is he using. As long as I know that John is responsible for architecture diagrams, I'm good. Okay, so my manager asked me to create architecture images and PPT. I'll hand over the task to John. John will use Draw.io tool. He'll create architecture. He'll use Leonardo tool. He'll create the images. He'll give it back to me. Now I'll call Katie. I'll give her the task, and I'll also give the architecture and the images which were previously generated. Katie will use those and she will put them in a nice presentation. And in one of the slides, she'll put architecture. In one of the slides, she'll put the AI images. She will hand it back to me. Once I get the PPT back, I can give it back to my manager as it is. So I am not doing any work. I'm just simply calling these people. Now, let's say if my manager will ask me something like uh, change the file name, or maybe if he'll say um, write a thank you slide, or he'll say add add details about the event and or speaker. These are very small and silly change requests. So I can do this by myself. I can do all these changes by myself. What I'll do is whatever presentation Katie has given me, I'll give it to my manager. But when my manager asks change the file name, I can simply do that by myself. I don't have to go to Katie again. She is responsible for creating that presentation. If I have to make like n number of changes, I'll go back to Katie. But if it is just a file name, I can do it myself also. So I'll do it. Add a thank you slide. I can do that by myself. Add some details about event or speaker. These are all small, simple tasks. So I'll do them by myself. I don't need a tool for this. I don't need to be an expert in that respective domain for this. I'll do them by myself. But when I need some expertise, that's when I'll go to John and Katie. Now, here, whatever we have done, this situation, this whole scenario, let's try to understand them in agentic AI approach. Manager is nothing but the user, and Sai is nothing but the main agent, or we can also call it as orchestrator agent. Now, John is an agent. Katie is also an agent. But what is the difference here? Raw.io is a tool. Leonardo.ai is a tool. Presentations.ai is a tool. Actually, let's put them separately here. So what I did was draw.io is one tool and Leonardo is one more tool. And my John agent has access to these two tools. This is one agent. He's an agent who has these tools attached to him. Similarly for Katie, presentations.ai is a tool that I've attached to Katie agent. These are two different agents. And now my main agent, Sai, is an orchestrator agent. It doesn't have any tools. It can if I want to, but as of now, in this situation, it doesn't have any tools. But what this will do is it is connected to both of these agents using handoff. So which means depending upon the situation, it can hand off the task to these respective agents. And how will the main agent know when to do what? Whenever the user is asking. So if my manager, which is the user in our situation, if the user is asking, I want an architecture diagram, automatically Katie will start doing the work because Sai has handed over the task. User is not asking the agent, the KT agent directly. He's asking this orchestrator agent. Whatever task has to be done, he will communicate directly with the orchestrator agent and then he will give the task to the respective agents. So these are the most important things that you have to understand. You have your agents and you have handoff and you have tools. How exactly am I going to combine all of these together? Because if you see, this is an agent, this is an agent. Katie and John are different agents, and I've connected them to my main agent. Now, whenever the user is asking a question, that request will be sent directly to my main agent. I'm not sending it here, I'm not sending it here, I'm sending it only to my main agent. That is a logic that I have implemented. This logic is what we call as agent orchestration. So far, we have learned these terms: agents, tools, handoff, and agent orchestration. Okay, now let's say in the agent orchestration part, let's make a small change. So whenever the manager wants a new image, AI generated image, he does not have to ask the main agent. We know that for every AI image, John is responsible. So I'll send a request directly to John. If it is a very generic request, obviously I'll send it to the main agent. But if it is a direct request for which I know which agent is responsible for it, I can write a simple if-else condition also saying that if user is asking for a AI image or if AI image is present in the user request string, directly send it to John. This logic is what I have built. So it is called as agent orchestration because I am the one who is orchestrating the whole logic. Okay. So when we have to learn about agentic AI, these are the four different things that we have to really understand in depth. And we are going to cover all of them one by one. And if I go back to the lessons here, first we will try to build an agent and we will understand what is memory inside of agents. So these two models will cover everything about the basics of agents, how to use them. Next, we are going to start building tools and we'll connect them to our agents. So all these, including this one also. So these five modules are going to be completely about tools, how to build these tools, how to connect them with your agents and how to use your agents and how to tell them how to use these tools. Once that is done, we are going to create multiple agents And we are going to learn about handoff. How can we do the agent orchestration where multiple agents are connected to a single agent, or how can we reach to a specific agent directly? Once these are done, we are going to cover the project that I've built, where we are going to build an entire agent AI backend with multiple agents, with complicated tools, all are connected together. It's a real life scenario. And finally, we are going to cover what are the different problems that you'll face when you are building a agent orchestration. See you in the next video. Thank you.